Hey guys, such an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back with a Lucian supplementary guide, and we've got a pretty interesting one for you today. So this Lucian build is nothing new. It has been around, floating around for like the past, I don't know, like half a year or so, but just never really gotten around to playing it myself. I tested it out in a couple of matches, but I didn't quite like it. Anyways, this build is normally built when you play Lucian in the mid lane or even Lucian in the Baron lane, which some people do play that. That's mainly because this build makes you a lot more tanky. Not like a tank, but you guys can see we have like 350 health from Black Cleaver. We have, the lifesteal from Blade of the Rune King, that sort of deal, and we also eventually get the lifesteal from Wit's End as well. So it's a pretty tanky kind of build. So we're gonna get straight into it, and we're gonna explain how it works. So the main premise of this build is, of course, having health, having sustain, and having cooldown reduction. So we have 20 ability haste here, 20 ability haste here, and we have Hunter Genius. So what this allows us to do is it allows us to use our spells more quickly, and as a result we get off more basic attacks, and with more basic attacks we can use them to proc Black Cleaver, to proc Blade of the Rune King, and also to proc Wit's End. So it's sort of like a semi-auto attack focused Lucian kind of build. But anyways, let's jump straight in. So the first item you're going to get is always going to be Mana Immune. Of course, it's going to give you AD, Mana, and Ability Haste. Now the two important points here is, of course, the Ability Haste, as I just mentioned, and also the Mana, because when Lucian spams his spells, he uses a lot of Mana, and of course this also helps to somewhat resolve the Mana issues. And of course, when you evolve it into the Mirror Mana, you will do like on-hit damage on spells such as your Q and your Ultimate, and it will increase the damage that those spells do, so of course that is useful as well. So next up, we normally go for the Black Cleaver. So Black Cleaver, of course, gives you the health for the tankiness, gives you damage, gives you the ability haste, as we mentioned. You also get two passives, the first one being Rage for the movement speed, of course being an ADC that is incredibly helpful to Lucian. And secondly, we get the Sunder, which allows you to shred the armor of the enemy team up to 6 times. And of course, this is really easy to do. If you full combo an enemy, like if you E auto, W auto, Q auto, for example, all the auto attacks are gonna proc the shredding on the Black Cleaver really easily. So this helps increase not only your damage output to the enemy team, but also your team's damage to the enemy team. Now for the boots, it's still pretty much the same as normal Lucian. You want to go for defensive boots, and then you want to go for the Zanya's Hourglass. And then of course we have Blade of the Rune King. So Blade of the Rune King has 20 AD, 35% attack speed. So here gives you more attack speed to help you get out your attacks faster. Now Lucian doesn't benefit the most from attack speed, but having more attack speed is always helpful. So here we get the physical vamp, of course, as I mentioned, with the sustain. You also get the drain passive to, of course, drain movement speed from enemies when you hit them 3 times. Really easy to proc on Lucian. Now with the Q auto, you instantly proc it already. And after that, we also have the Ruined Strikes, which of course allows you to deal bonus physical damage on hit. So this of course allows you to shred tanks as well, which is why Blade of the Rune King can also be very helpful. So we have Black Cleaver shred tanks, we have like, Black Cleaver and Blade of the Rune King to shred tanks, so it's really good against a tanky team as well. Of course, we also have the Serelda's Grudge, gives you even more ability haste, more AD, armor penetration of course, and we also have the Icy passive. Don't think I really have to explain that one too much. Normal Lucian uses this as well, of course, for the slow on his ultimate in particular. And finally, we top it off with a Wit's End. So Wit's End again gives you that bit of attack speed, which is useful but not, very useful. And then we also have the 50 magic resist, really useful because majority of teams will have some kind of magic damage on them. And then we have the passive on Wit's End, allowing you to deal bonus on hit magic damage. And also, when you're below half health, you will get healing off of the Wit's End. So we got a lot of on-hit damage from pretty much the whole build. So it's a really kind of on-hit build Lucian. It's like on-hit, it's tanky, it's attack speed, it's a lot of things. So anyways, now that we've gone through all of that, we can talk about the runes and the spells. So for the runes, Kraken Slayer, because Lucian is the best Kraken Slayer user in the game. Maybe comparable to Akshan, but I think Lucian is the best Kraken Slayer user in the game. Really easy to proc Kraken Slayer. I like to take Brutal because we already have the Vamp from Blade of the Rune King. And Brutal helps you be both dominant in lane, and of course since it is on hit, Brutal is gonna increase your damage output significantly because you're a lot more focused on basic attacks than abilities compared to Lucian's normal build. Bone Plating, of course, is really OP now, now that it can block the first incoming attack. And then we of course have Hunter Genius again for more ability haste. And spells, of course, we have Exhaust and we have Flash. So with all that out of the way, we can jump into the gameplay. Alright, so now we can move on to talking about the gameplay itself. So now first up is, with this build, the first thing you gotta know about this build is, it does not do as much damage as the crit build. Now that's pretty self-explanatory, because obviously crit build, you know, when you crit, you do more damage, especially with IE. So logically, crit build is gonna do way more damage than this build. But this build, as I said, it's a lot more on hit, it's a lot more auto attack focused, and it's also a lot more tanky. So this is normally the kind of build you see in higher elo, because people generally want to stay safer more, and they're not as worried about damage, they're more concerned about keeping alive. And also, because you have a lot of ability haste in your build, this also allows your dash to come out a lot faster. So again, more mobility, allowing you to dash away to safety, or even to dash to catch up to enemies. So this is it's a build you see a lot more in higher elo. If you know you're in lower elo, I think the damage build is gonna simply be better. Personally, I'm just not used to Lucian having this low damage. I still prefer going for the crit build myself. But you know, I tested it out. I tested this out in mid as well, a couple of games. I tested it out in top as well, a couple of games. But this build is viable in any lane. You can still build it when you're, you know, in the ADC lane, like what you see here. So here Nami gets a really good catch onto Ezreal. I pretty much just go all in on him level 2, and I managed to actually get the first blood with my auto attack. The Brutal coming in very handy there. Of course, again with the on hit build, I auto attacked him 5 times there, and the Brutal really came into play at level 2. So that's one of the extra perks of taking Brutal, especially since it just got buffed pretty recently. And here Kayn comes in, I get Electrocute procced on me, I exhaust Kayn just in case. But I don't think Kayn's gonna really do that much there. And again, we get a lot of auto attacks in on the enemies. And really, with this build, your main damage is gonna come from your auto attacks. Unlike your other build, where a lot of your damage actually comes from your abilities, not just your auto attacks. It's about a 50-50 split with the crit build, because your Q, for example, can strike through a lot of the enemies, but your auto attacks can only hit 1. But your auto attacks, when they crit with like 3 crit items or something like that, they are gonna hurt as well. So, you know, it's kind of an even split there. But here, with the on-hit build, it is pretty much going to be the case where majority of your damage is going to come from your auto attack. So really, your abilities are sort of just there to make it such that you have that double auto attack from your passive, and that's pretty much all there is to it when it comes to your abilities. It's not too important. Of course, the dash is important, but the rest of your abilities pretty much is just to make sure that you have, of course, the means to cast more of your double auto attacks. Of course, you're also really useful. Also procs the Shred on the Black Cleaver. Didn't really point that out in the item section, but yeah. Alright, so here, Ezreal and Brand are playing really aggressive for some reason, even though we just killed the Ezreal, and clearly they don't really win against us. Ezreal does not win against Lucian at all. So here, I'm going in on the Ezreal. If Nami hit that bubble, he would have been dead instantly. Unfortunately, the bubble doesn't land, and because of that, Ezreal does live. So here I have the fruit up and available, so I'm gonna just take the fruit. I'm almost level 5, so I'm kind of just waiting for a level 5. Here we go, level 5, so I go in on Ezreal. I flash forward to get the kill. Unfortunately, Bran has his passive on me, so I know I'm gonna die whatever I do. That's why I flash forward to go for the kill on the Ezreal. You know, better to trade 1 for 1 than to just straight up die. So overall, I did expend my flash for that, but you know, it is all good. 2 and 1 is not bad. I also got my Mana Mune already, so I can start stacking up that Mana Mune. Of course, stacking up Mana Mune is not the most important thing on Lucian, because you already get the stats like the ability haste, especially from the Mana Mune, and the mana as well. But of course, you know, having the mirror mana gives you more damage, so of course you want to get that as quickly as possible. So of course, we do want to stack that up. So here we have a relatively big wave forming. Here I'm just trying to thin out the enemy's wave, because Ezreal is sort of counter pushing my wave as well. So here, I'm just going to try to auto a little bit and wait for my next wave to come. The next wave is coming real soon, and it's going to be stacking up to a really, really huge wave, so enemies wouldn't be able to fight us with such huge of a wave. Take this opportunity to go over and ward. Ezreal is spamming his spells on the wave, trying to clear it. Here, I try to go in on the Brand. You guys can see here, with the ulti as well, we easily kill him. Ezreal comes in with the exhaust, but it's a little bit too late. I'm really, really low. Nami actually body blocks the Q for me, and Gragas just pops on over throws down the cask and secures the kill. So early game doing pretty well. I'm 2-1 and 2 at the moment. I'm still doing pretty well. Fortunately, those last two kills did not go to me, but you know, we are still doing well across as a team. Oriana is also 2-0, and Jax is even 0-0-0, so it's all fine. Pretty much my team is doing pretty well all across the board, and I'm pretty much the only person that actually died on my team when I traded 1-for-1. So my whole team is doing well, I'm doing well as well, and the game is going really well thus far. So here Dragon is up, so what I'm trying to do here is to just shove out the lane. I can see I'm using my spells as well as my passive onto the minions. And with the pressure that we have after those first couple of kills, we do have priority to clear the wave, because if the enemy tries to contest, we can simply kill them. Sion ults into the Dragon Pit, and here does get caught by pretty much everything. I secure the kill on Sion, and we also secure the Mountain Dragon here. I believe that was Kayn dashed in on me, but unfortunately I couldn't really get out, so I do end up trading with him as well. But overall I traded, you know, we traded overall, like, I think it was 3-for-1, 3-for-2, so still a pretty even trade, as in addition to also securing the dragon. So in the end, I think that fight went well. We got the Mountain Dragon, and we traded 2 for 3. So you know, it's all going well so far. We're, of course, alright, I forgot to mention this, or not really forgot to mention this, we're gonna mention it now. In this particular match, because we have like a Sion and we also have a Kayn, who I'm assuming is going for Red 4, I decided to go for a Blade of the Rune King second item, because I do want to shred especially the Sion, and also the Kayn if he goes red, although he does have Electrocute, so he might go blue, and he also has been ganking me a relatively good amount, so he might be going for blue form actually, but I decided to actually go Blade of the Rune King first in this particular match instead of going for Black Cleaver first. The build after anything after Mana Mune is pretty flexible anyways. Of course you don't want to build like Serraldo's Grudge second item or something like that, but it's even viable to go like Wit's End second item if you're into a very heavy magic damage team composition. But generally, you want to choose between Black Cleaver and Blade of the Rune King as your second and your third item, because those two items are pretty much going to give you the best value in terms of your second and third item. Right, so here Nami has back, so I'm going to have to play a little bit more cautiously because I'm in a 2v1 situation here. So I'm just going to let them push in, got to give up a little bit of pressure onto them, and just going to try to avoid getting poked by Brand and Ezreal if we can. Here Nami is back, so I'm pretty much just going back in. You guys can see that here we pick up the kill on Ezreal, and I'm going to ult to secure the kill onto the Brand. Brand realizes he can't get out, so he actually turned back and tried to trade 1-for-1 for me. And I think that if he did that right at the start, I think he would have probably been able to trade with me 1-for-1, but he realized that a little bit too late, and as a result I get 2 kills for the price of nothing. So that's great. We also secure the first tower, as you guys can see, so this actually allows us to start rotating around the map. I'm 6-2 and 3 at the moment, so also gonna go back and complete the Blade of the Rune King. So we are doing really well at the moment. And also I'm getting the Merc Treads, because there's a decent amount of CC, Kayn possible knockup, Brand possible stun, Sion knockup and stun, etc. and Fizz on the ulti. So I'm not going to take any chances, I'm going to go for the Merc Treads, also because Fizz and Brand do exist on that team, and that's a decent amount of magic damage that I have to contend with. So I think the Merc Treads are a pretty good option to purchase. Right, so here we can see Ezreal is actually in the bot lane, and the rest of his team is in the top lane. Now this actually means that this gives us free reign to push mid lane tower. So my team is kind of not really committing to a fight, but also kind of just there. So we do get the mid lane tower, and we can rotate now that the fight has actually broken out. Either way, getting mid lane tower is really worth it. So here I try to actually out to secure kill on Fizz. I don't actually get him, and Kayn actually goes the other way from where I thought he was going. So I end up pretty much just going nowhere, and then Sion ends up walking past me and hitting the blast plant. So I end up not catching him either. So it's just pretty much the last like 5 seconds or so. It's pretty embarrassing turn of events for me, because I went in the wrong direction, opposite from the Kayn. And then I couldn't cut the Sion off because I moved from my position where I was actually cutting him off. And yeah, so basically Sion gets away, but overall not too big of a deal because my team did secure the rest of the kills, and no one actually died. So it's all good. And Now we're gonna head back onto the map with the Zhonya's Argus completed. Now Zhonya's in this match is mainly for the Fizz and also the Scion. So because Fizz, obviously we have that ulti that if I get hit by, you know, I need to stasis it. If not, I could be one comboed. And Scion, sometimes the charge is really hard to avoid, as you guys can see from the dragon fight previously. So yeah, Zhonya's of course always a really good option. Okay, so here, Dragon obviously coming up pretty shortly, and it's pretty much the time where both teams are hovering around the Dragon kind of area. Bran gets caught, and you know, he goes down. Ezreal gets caught by the wave as well. I'm gonna pretty much just ult him down, and we actually pick up a free double kill prior to the Dragon. Scion, even Scion gets caught afterwards, but that one's not too important because we can't simply just burst down the Scion. Either way, we're just gonna hit back, and I do believe we're gonna fall back onto the Dragon. The enemy team summons Rift Herald kind of in panic, in my opinion, and because of that, we get rid of the Herald for free, and we're gonna go back onto securing the Ocean Dragon. So it's just me and Gragas on Ocean Dragon. Jax and Nami still continuing to push slash, you know, pressure. But here we're just gonna quickly secure the Dragon before the enemy team can actually come. Kayn actually comes in. So Orianna does the right thing by walking away now. Notice what Orianna did there. That's really important because she had the Kayn in her because Kayn ulted her, and what she did was she walked away from the Dragon Pit to try to maximize the distance between him and the Dragon Pit so that he's not in range to smite, which is really good. Helps us to secure the Dragon without any threat of a smite steal. Really good play, really good move by the Orianna. And that's what you should do if the Kayn is inside of you. Unless, of course, you're going to have to run into his team to do that. Then you maybe don't want to do that. But aside from that, you generally do want to just walk out of the pit and bring the Kayn away. Okay, so here we're just going to clean up the bot lane wave. Got pretty much 2.5 waves down here. So we're going to get those waves. We're going to back and we're going to start building towards the Black Cleaver. Should be able to get the both components at this point, which we are able to indeed do so. We're at 10k gold, and pretty much no one is even near us aside from the Jax, who's also kind of almost there. And here, looks like a fight for the Herald is coming. We just saw Bran back, so we do know that we have our Bran actually did not back. Who was it that backed? Kayn may be backed, so we do have a numbers advantage, and they don't have their jungler. Here Kayn is back to the party, but we do secure the Rift Herald courtesy of the Gragas Smite. Here I'm trying to clean up pretty much the rest of the fight. And two members are stuck high and dry inside our jungle, and we're all here to cut them off. Here Kayn tries to go through the wall, but ends up coming out on the wrong side. Even if he came out on the other side, I had my flash. Should anything have really gone wrong there. And Fizz is just going to get chased down by the Jax. I'm not even going to bother chasing the Fizz. Because I can spend my time just farming the jungle instead, getting myself into a better position, and my team can easily secure the kill on Fizz. No need to be, you know, too bloodthirsty and just straight up run after the Fizz. We can easily just, you know, pick up farm elsewhere and let our team handle it. We don't want to send a whole team to chase after one Fizz, because that is going to be a waste of resources. Now here, my team is pushing top, so in the meantime, I'm going to go for the bot wave that has of course accumulated by this point. I can see Jax coming in from behind me, so I'm in a hurry to clear this wave as quickly as possible before all my minions can get stolen by Jax. Now thankfully I managed to clear all but one minion, which of course does get stolen by him with his empowered auto attack. And then he looks like he's gonna continue pushing, so what I'm gonna do instead is I'm just gonna farm up our jungle. My whole team is pretty much split up now, so we don't exactly want to take a fight in any particular place. Here in my jungle, since my jungle is Gragas and he's on the other side of the map, I'm just going to go ahead and take the red buff. Mine is of course running out real soon, so I'm just going to quickly just go ahead and take that red buff. Dashing through to join the rest of my team in the mid lane. Orianna already secures 2 kills onto the enemies, and here I'm actually pinging for Baron, because Kayn and Scion are on the opposite side of the map and we did get 2 picks. So if nothing goes wrong, this should be a relatively free Baron. Kayn of course does have really good map mobility, so he could of course show up here at any point in time because he can easily just, you know, run through the walls and make it over here to the Baron. But we don't expect anybody to actually contest this Baron because they do have 3 people dead and both other people were on the opposite side of the map when we started the Baron. So we got a free Baron, no contest from the enemy team, and we are able to back. You know, we already got the Black Cleaver and now we're building towards the Serelda's Grudge. Now in this match, it actually wouldn't be such a bad idea to actually go for a Wit's End earlier, but I personally just like going for the other items first, and I think Wit's End should be like a last or second last item, because Wit's End doesn't really give you a whole lot of damage or ability haste for that matter. So here Fizz hits me the ulti, I pay the stasis tax basically and ensure he cannot burst me, and I'm still left at full health. See, I'm just going to clean up that chicken that I left a little bit earlier, because if not the camp won't respawn, so I'm just going to clear that out. And now with the Baron, we can proceed on to just pushing the lanes. So I know Fizz doesn't have ult for the next bit, so I know I'm relatively safe from getting assassinated by the Fizz unless I walk face first into him. Huge fight happens at the top lane, and here I am ready to go in on that fight. I was trying to pop the plant there, but thankfully I didn't, because that would have put me in a bad position. Unfortunately though, my whole team pretty much just dies, and Jax is kind of split pushing the opposite side of the map, which is a really good thing for him to do. Here, for some reason, Fizz hops the wall, and we basically just kill him instantly. So here, unfortunately, I failed the dash over the wall, but here I was trying to stop the people from backing so that Jax can push. Jax already has secured the in-hit, but Ezreal didn't back for some reason, and as a result, we're just going to pick up a free kill onto the Ezreal. So now that we've attracted the attention of the rest of the enemy team, we're trying to push this lane down. And here you can see I dash straight in. Look at how tanky I am with this build. Like, the Cade and the Scion don't really do that much damage to me at the very beginning of the fight at least. And because of that, we can clean up both of them, and then we can proceed on to possibly pushing this tower. Maybe not, because Brand is here to engage, to stop us. So I'm back. I pick up the Serelda's Grudge. And we're almost at full build at this point. We're 12, 2, and 9 actually, 15k gold. 2k gold ahead of the next most fed person, who is, of course, Mr. Jax. And we do secure triple dragon, so pretty much the game should be won at this point if we don't do anything too reckless and too stupid. But here, again, I'm just going to take the red buff to refresh mine, since clearly Gragas will not need it. Enemy team has to deal with that huge wave in the bottom lane. And here I'm just going to steal the enemy's buff. Now, obviously, I don't really need a blue buff all that much, but here I'm just going to take the enemy buff just to deny it. Here I actually see Jax come in. I actually was trying to give it to him, but he wasn't interested, so I'm just going to finish it off and refresh the blue buff as well. Why not? So here Jax continuing on with the split push in the meantime, while the rest of us are distracting the enemy team. Now, pretty much here, if we can distract the enemy team, Jax will pretty much just end the game for us. Here I get the kill onto the Brand, flashing over to try to DPS the Scion. Scion's shield comes back up. We do kill the Scion, and we also get another kill onto the Kayn. And here, as you guys can see, Jax does end up solo ending the game. And there we have it. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I'll leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.